things I want to get done too, but my main priority is sitting with God and asking Him to give me the revelation of what His plans are for me in 2026. And I feel like we have to normalize that. Like, God, what are your plans for my family, my job, my church, my community, my business, my marriage? Like, what are your plans? And give me the strategy to make sure that I come into alignment with what your plans are for these very specific areas in my life. Like, is that how you make your goals? Is that how you make your plans for the upcoming year or the upcoming month? Because, baby, first of all, kingdom, right? So the kingdom and everything else that follows, wife, the mom, the boss, everything else that follows has to follow kingdom.
It's for us to see, you know, do we really love each other?
She was a wise woman.
You don't know what you don't know, right? So once you're exposed to something new, you're like, wow, this is how it's supposed to.
I don't know what to do. He will, of course, cover me in prayer. I have done things my own way, very erroneous.
I mean, when I tell you endured,
It was just the overflow of every emotion.
The word widow, I completely despise.
Has tainted this area of sex so much.
Thriving Decrees for the Kingdom Wife Mom Boss is a tool that was curated to help you grow, develop, and thrive in your role as a leader. Whether it concerns you as a mother, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, as a minister, or just a leader in your community, this book contains tools to help you overcome anything that keeps you from walking in the fullness of who God has called for you to be as a leader in your respected areas. Make sure you go to my website at www.clemetradeshay.com and order your copy. Hey, Kingdom Wife Mom Boss. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of the Kingdom Wife Mom Boss podcast. I'm super excited to be here. And as you can see, I am audio only. Listen, I am taking the next couple of weeks to just audio only. I don't know what happened this past week. I was just dealing with so much. I had a lot going on, a lot on my plate. I was coming down under the weather. I had some, mostly things going on, and I had so many places that I needed to show up for. I don't know if it was everything converging at one time, but my body was just like, sis, you need to sit. And so I am listening. Can we make listening to our bodies telling us that we need to rest healthy? Like, can we just make that like a normal thing? God will give us the discernment. He will tell us that we need to listen to what our bodies are saying. And in those moments, we just have to use wisdom and actually listen. Actually listen to what it is that our bodies are saying. So I had to take a quick trip out of town this weekend to my daughter's college town. And I took a moment to just rest and reset. It was just one night, one morning, but that moment of just not being, not having to like really show up for anybody or do anything, just kind of be there. It helped me really to just rest and reset, refocus my mind and what it is that I needed to get done. It just provided a little bit of clarity. And I think more often we have to come out of like, you don't necessarily have to take a trip out of town, sis, but girl, go for a walk, like clear your mind, refocus, reset on what it is that you need to be accomplishing in this season. And so also for the remainder of 2025, like my sis was talking about last week, listen, sit and process this past year, process the things that you wanted to get done, process some stuff that you need to work on, and literally sit with God. I know people have like their goals and their things that they want to get done in 2026. I have things I want to get done too, but my main priority is sitting with God and asking Him to give me the revelation of what His plans are for me in 2026. And I feel like we have to normalize that. Like, God, what are your plans for my family, my job, my church, my community, my business, my marriage? Like, what are your plans? And give me the strategy to make sure that I come into alignment with what your plans are for these very specific areas in my life. Like, is that how you make your goals? Is that how you make your plans for the upcoming year or the upcoming month? Because, baby, first of all, kingdom, right? So the kingdom and everything else that follows, wife, the mom, the boss, everything else that follows has to follow kingdom. And so if we just out here making our own declarations and our own resolutions all willy-nilly without sitting with God and asking him what his vision is or asking him what he sees, girl, why are you moving in opposition to God's plan for you? Why are you moving in opposition to God's plan for you? And so I get to do that. I'm doing that for the remainder of this year. I feel like a lot of women do. They put themselves on the back burner to show up for everybody else and all of the things that they have to show up them for. And so we can cause emotional damage, mental damage, physical damage, spiritual damage to ourselves. Can we just get in the habit of minding ourselves? Like, mind yourself, sis. Mind yourself. Take a moment to sit down, evaluate yourself, think about what you need. And this is not like a selfish practice. We're not doing this just for ourselves, but we are doing this to make sure that we're not reaching the point of burnout every other week. Girl, 2026, no burnouts in 2026. We are minding ourselves in 2026. When we feel like we are going off course, we're going off track, we are getting to this place of burnout, we are going to reset, realign, refocus so that we can get back to this thriving state of mind, this thriving in our actions, this thriving in our communication, right? Because we don't, literally, we're not trying to kill ourselves to make sure that everybody else survives. I'm sorry, but we're not. Yes, I know it's a daily sacrifice, but use wisdom. Sit with God. There are many times that God has given us instruction on how to show up to the fulfillment of everything that he's called for us to do, because sometimes it feels like it's a lot. Sometimes it's like, whoo, I got to show up to all of these places and I don't quite have the energy that I need to do it. I know, I get it. Like, girl, I get it. Sometimes it feels like it's a lot, but God has given us the instructions to show up to these places and to thrive in these places and to succeed in these places. And a lot of the times we're not listening. A lot of the times we're not being obedient to what it is that he's given us to do so that we can reach the fulfillment of the promise that's to come with it, right? I can raise my hand. I can say I've been guilty. I can't even say I'm not guilty right now. Like, God has given us instruction, whether it was how we eat, whether it was how we exercise, whether it was timing, whether it was sacrificing some things that aren't being conducive to the place that we're going to. Whatever it is, God gives us instructions. Why? Because he wants to see us win in what it is that he's put on our plate. God didn't give us this thing to fail. And so, minding ourselves in 2026. I feel like I'm really excited about this because listen, we are minding ourselves in 2026 so that we can win in what it is that God is calling for us to win in. He gets the glory. He gets the glory. We get the victory. I'm looking for you to get the victory in what it is that God has called for you to do in 2026. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And so lately I've been talking a lot about leadership because I've been talking about leadership and aspect of my book, 5 Decrees for the Kingdom Wife Mom Boss. But that's because leadership is a lifestyle. And so whether it's in your home with your children, in your marriage, on your job, in your business, in your community, in your church, whatever it is, your leadership is a lifestyle. Your leadership is how you talk. It is how you walk. It is your action. It is your integrity. It is your character. That is your leadership. That is how you are leading people. It's how you influence people. That's how you encourage and how you motivate people. That is your leadership. And so there are times in our leadership where we're not showing up the way that we desire to. And in those moments where we're not showing up the way that we desire to, typically there's some reason why. There's something there. It can be childhood trauma. It can be rejection that we face. We can feel insecure. We can feel jealous. We can feel inferior. There's so many different things that we could have experienced in life or picked up along the way in life that affects our character, affects our integrity, affects our conversations and our actions, right? And so in Thriving Decrees for the Kingdom Wife Mom Boss, we're getting to the root of these things. We are getting to the root of these things. We are decreeing against these things, and we are being accountable to make sure that we continue to get the victory over these things and that these things are not dominating our leadership. So they're not negatively impacting the conversations we have with our kids. They're not negatively affecting our marriages. Like, we want to make sure that as we are kingdom leaders in the community and on our jobs and in our homes, that we are leading with impact and not allowing these flaws, I'll call them flaws, or these impurities, to be the forefront of our leadership, right? And so I've seen people post these like messages that say, you know, I wish that I could do this and I wish I can do that, in reference to having self-control. Like, they don't want to argue with people. They want to have peace. They don't want people to like disturb their peace. They want to have like self-control over how they say and how they act and what they do. And believe it or not, that is your leadership. Essentially, that is your leadership. If you don't have self-control in your leadership, then why? Why don't you have self-control in your leadership? If you feel like you have to argue all the time, why? Why do you feel like you have to argue all the time? These are the things that we are dealing with in this book. Like, it is a stepping stone. It is a tool to help you begin to overcome these things that are negatively impacting and affecting your leadership. We are minding ourselves in 2026, and minding ourselves, part of minding ourselves is making sure that we are spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally good. What is the impurity that you need to get rid of to make sure that you are leading with effectiveness and that you are showing up thriving in the assignments that God has given to you? That is something that I hold near and dear to my heart. I know that God has called you to do amazing and great things. And I want to know, if you feel like you're not reaching that point, what is stopping you? I mean, I have my own work to do. God, I have my own work to do in these areas. But I want to know, like, what is stopping you? What is stopping me? Because whatever it is, we don't have time for it. We don't have time to keep playing with this thing in 2026. We have to show up with impact. And in order to do that, we have to mind ourselves. What do you need? What do you need to shift about your lifestyle? What do you need to change? What do you need to do to make sure that you are walking to the level that you need to walk in as far as what God has called for you to do? Mine right now, sis, is sitting on this couch and doing audio. I just listen. Mine right now is rest. And I don't mean just like resting. I mean resting while working. You know, when you're in church, you always hear these sermons about Jesus, how Jesus had to get away and how he had to rest. But he was still Jesus. He was still Jesus. He just had to get away from the pull. People pulling on him. And sometimes in everyday life, it feels like people are pulling on you. They need you. They need you. Sis, you are special. You are special. You are wanted and you are desired. But you got to take care of yourself. You got to rest. He got away. He had to go rest. He was still Jesus, though. When he came back, they were still needing Jesus the same way that they needed him before. But he had to get away. And whether that time is to get away and pray, to just have a conversation with his Lord, or to ask God to just fill him up, or to get strategy from it, like whatever you need to do in your resting state, do it. Now, I'm not telling you to be lazy. And of course, I'm telling you to do this under guidance of the Holy Spirit. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling overwhelmed going into this next season, right? You're feeling overwhelmed knowing that you have a lot of assignments and things that you have to get done. Then sis, you're going to have to take a moment to rest. And that rest can be 5 minutes every morning, just sitting with the Lord and asking him to fill you up. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Says, have you ever? Because I have. I've had to wait on the Lord and ask him to renew my strength. Couldn't do it in my own strength. I had to wait for him to tell me to go, and I had to wait for him to tell me to stop. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. And so while we're minding ourselves, we're not doing this by ourselves, and we're not doing this for self-love. We're doing this for effectiveness, right? We're doing this for effectiveness. What do we need to deal with, even about our own selves, to make sure that we're good? What do we need to deal with? Because you can't keep sweeping it under the rug. You can't keep acting like it's not there. You can't. I'm sorry. You just can't do it. What do you need to mind about yourself to make sure that you are walking in this next level of thrive? Point blank and period. Point blank and period. But let's go back for a moment. Can we talk about how toxic it is for women to feel guilt over taking a moment to like breathe or have rest? Like, why is that even there? Why is there a feeling of guilt? Can we normalize understanding that you have to make sure that you're good? And that as long as you're not doing it for selfish attention, like as long as you're doing this to make sure that you're healthy, health wise, and you're not doing this like going away out of town for like weeks on end, or just neglecting your family. Long as you're not neglecting your family, girl, take a moment to rest. Use wisdom. That's why everything we do it literally with guidance of Holy Spirit, because he'll tell you if it's too much. He'll also tell you if it's not enough. There is no guilt and no shame that should come from you needing a moment to rest. Sis, take your moment to breathe and rest. You need it. I'm sorry, you need it. Don't have guilt and don't have shame about what it is that you're doing. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about what mine and myself has looked like in 2025. It has looked like getting myself off of so much social media. Girl, I had become the scroll king or queen. Not king. I had become the scroll queen. And I realized that I was scrolling because I was overwhelmed. And instead of dealing what was overwhelming me, I would just scroll. Like it was a mindless scroll. And so minding myself was me listening to God as God was continuously telling me to stop scrolling. Girl, I would begin to scroll and the Holy Spirit would be like, stop. Literally, he would be like, stop. And God had to give me the revelation of why I was scrolling the way that I was scrolling. I was overwhelmed and I needed to stop. Like God gives us the instruction and he helps us to get better. Minding myself meant that I wasn't showing up to everything that I was invited to. Point blank period. I'm not I can't show up to everything that I'm invited to. I'm exhausted and I need a moment. That's what it looked like. It looked like I'm not going to every work event that y'all have going. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, I'm not showing up. So I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just not coming. Minding myself meant, and I say this very much so giving glory to God, because he is the one who allows me to see what my body needs and to act accordingly, right? No, you don't need to go there. Okay, then I'm not going. Okay, you don't need to be doing that. Okay, then I need to stop doing that. Was it all easy? No, a lot of it was a struggle. A lot of it was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie to you. But because I have a desire, and because you have a desire to walk in the fruition of what God's plans are for our life, we're going to do it no matter how hard it is. That's the point of blank in the period. We're going to do it. So minding yourself in 2026 is the goal. And every now and then I'm just going to do a check-in with y'all. I'm going to do a drive-by. Are you minding yourself in 2026? It is important. And I want you to make sure that you prioritize minding yourself. Anyways, I hope you guys got your Christmas shopping done. If you are someone who does Christmas. I know everyone doesn't celebrate all of the holidays. The holidays it's a little heavy. Like between November and December, it's a little heavy. My mom's birthday is in November. Thanksgiving is in November. December, is Christmas. And again, like I remember talking to a friend, like grief just roll up on you. It don't send an invite. It don't give you a text message. It don't say it's coming. It just roll up on you singing "Nuck If You Buck." I'm just saying. And so November and December can be a little hard. I feel like that contributes a little bit more to like me making sure that I'm good and showing up the way that I need to show up. But I laugh because me and my mom were such awful last minute Christmas shoppers. We will be literally riding around the day before Christmas grabbing stuff, like not stuff for like the kids or whatever, but like other people. We will be like, oh, we forgot to get so and so something. We'll be riding around the day before Christmas. And I remember the last couple of years before my mom got really sick, I would be like, Mama, I am not riding around like crazy on Christmas Eve. Like you need to let me know what we need to get ahead of time so that I can make sure that we have it taken care of, because I'm not doing it, because it be some straight crazy people out there the day before Christmas and everything closes at 6. So you're like rushing to try to get to these places before they close. It's just madness and it's just crazy. I don't know why people do it to themselves. I learned my lesson a long time ago. I ain't doing it. I'm not running. Like if I ain't got it, I ain't got it. Obviously I didn't need it. Right. But, I think about that and I laugh because it was just memories that me and my mom had. Like memories are what I hold on to in these seasons. And I'm sure a lot of people who have lost their family members, that's what they hold on to during these seasons. And I'm going to tell you, over this last week, I feel like I've recognized a lot of people who have lost loved ones. And I think, let me think, they've been parents and my heart goes out to them. Losing a parent is not easy. I know someone who lost her mother. Her mother was in her 90s. And she says, you're never ready to lose a parent. Like, you're just not. You're never ready to lose any of your loved ones. But there's something about losing a parent, right? And so my heart goes out to them. Prayers and love for you guys in this season as you navigate this season, being the first season without your loved one. I pray God's strength for you to carry you and to guide you through. That can be a tough one. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I pray that you guys have an amazing week. I'll catch you. You know what? This season is coming to an end. It has been an amazing season. And we're coming to an end. We have amazing guests scheduled for the next season. We're booked out for a couple of months, which I'm super excited about. Everybody getting on in their own niche and in their own field. But I want this to be a place where you feel comfortable having conversations. I want this to be a place where you hear the things that you need to hear to elevate you, to grow you into that next space. So if there's a specific topic that you need to talk about, email me, ClemetriaDeshay@gmail.com. If you have a special guest that you want to see on, if you yourself want to be on, email me. Let me know. This is our community where we are growing, we're elevating, and we're really just getting to that place of thriving in the assignments that God has called for us to thrive in. So I greatly appreciate you guys joining me, and I love you, and I hope you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Hey! I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Make sure that you catch us every week here on the Kingdom Wife Mom Boss podcast, where we are bringing you new episodes, new content, new information, new empowerment, new strategies, and new strength. Until then, I'll catch you next time.